What up? What up? Welcome back to Waging Kodak, my channel. I just started filming this and I felt very stuck. I wasn't being fake or anything, but I think I was being too, how am I going to start this video? And I think the whole premise of this video is not to be like that, not to be like, you know, well versed in what's going to happen and unfold, but just to be present. I'm outside, sun is shining, spring is here. I just had my solar return, just turned 22. And yeah, it's been interesting few days, to be honest. Nothing bad or anything, just it's a new, right? And why I've made this video, and it's titled Matrix Code 777. A couple of things. First, I have 777 tattooed on me. It's a very significant number to me. It's a number of spirituality, of luck, of transformation, and it's something that's always stuck out to me. Seven is in my life a little bit. It's not my actual angel number. My angel number is 888. But 777 is just always called to me. And I was in bed last night thinking a lot about like where I want to take this YouTube channel, what I want to kind of bring to this space and the online collective space. And someone who really inspires me, Fluid, had a video like this, all credit to her. She named it Matrix Code 144, and she was kind of discussing some codes, some information like she needed to kind of connect and get off her chest to like the collective. And I feel called to do the same thing today, just to discuss some things that are on my mind in relation to this number, to this time, to this time now. So if you're watching this and you'll feel called to watch this, whatever you gain from this is, there's no time stamp on it. I'm really just, okay, we're in the spring equinox and it is giving spring energy, but I think this is a spring in the notion of self. And if you ever need to become refreshed or whatever, in terms of this like matrix code, it's here and it's now. So, resistance. I've been feeling a lot of resistance recently. I don't know if anybody else is feeling the same. If we're going to take it on a collective space, we're on the year 9 out of the numerology system. I don't know too much when it comes into numerology. I'm aware of that you can figure out your life path, whether that's mine, which is 3/8, it's not even 3/7, or the year you're in, which for me is number 3. And collectively, we're in year 9. So I remember at work one time, I had a funny thing with a few coworkers, and we were kind of looking through numerology and like what it means to have our years and the year of the collective. And when it's like year 9, it resets to year 1 afterwards. And when you're in that, it's very intense. It builds, so stuff could happen in your life, whether that's good or bad. Very the tower moment, that kind of feeling. And God, the wind. A lot of people say when it's year 9, and there's someone over there, and when you're kind of going through a lot of resistance, you're on the verge of a breakthrough. Okay, yeah, you're on the verge of a breakthrough. So to kind of like pick at this concept a little bit, polarity, something I would really like to talk about. Polarity and like the two sides of something, the yin and yang, is kind of fundamental to anything and everything, right? You take humans, masculine, feminine. You take the sky or the land and sky. There's a reflection there. Resistance, resistance, a breakthrough. good, evil, light, dark. And I find like with resistance, it's being able to work through it. I think a lot of us will be going through resistance this year collectively as well because of this new earth versus this new world order. You're seeing resistance play out online on a lot of mainstream media outlets and us kind of resisting truth and lies. Truth and lies is a polarity, a mirror in itself, right? You know, the more you lie, the more resistance you are gonna manifest and feel for you to push the truth out, or vice versa. So I feel like resistance is a very interesting concept because, you know, it invites us to become a bit more aware of ourselves and our emotional and pain body. You know, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. I've been reading his book recently, and it talks a little bit about resistance. And a lot of resistance can be caused by the psychological time people inhabit. So what I mean by that is we have three types of time. Context. Premise, time is an illusion. So you have psychological time. So psychological time could be you're in bed and you're sad and you're thinking about a past experience that's happened to you. And it kind of keeps you stuck in that loop, that loop. And you can't seem to get out of it. You're kind of perpetuating the state of suffering. You know, oh, this has happened to me. I'm not good. I'm feeling shit. And you can be in this state for a day, a couple of days, a couple of weeks, a couple of months, a couple of years. You get the drift. And you might know people in your immediate surroundings or family who go through the same certain situations. That's psychological time. Then you have creative time. Creative time can be translated to in the now. It's the flow state, it's the eternal. So this could be you climbing a mountain or a wall, inside a wall, like, you know, them climbing walls. And you're in flow state and you're in the present. So you're not really thinking about certain things. You're in the now. Sometimes that could be induced by doing adrenaline rushing things like being on a roller coaster because you can't really think of the past or the future because you have to be in the now. Okay, to sustain yourself because, okay, like anything could happen to me right now. I'm on a roller coaster. I've got to be present. Or when you're in that state of, so as an actor, I love being in the now because when I'm on stage and I'm acting, this is not always the case, but most of the time you have to be in the flow state of being present and pulling that in. And that's creation. And you people can call it creative time because in the now that's where you create and creation happens. You know, creation can't really happen in the past or the future because you're giving energy to past and future things that aren't even happening, and creation can only happen in the present. You know, you can't create a 5,000 word essay if you're stuck in the past or thinking about the past, right? No, you have to sit in the present and start writing it at your desk or whatever. Like when you feel like you're slipping back into psychological time, try and bring yourself out into the present time. So that might be meditating, breathing, running, taking a shower, doing something that pulls you out of there, reading some scripture, a spiritual book, listening to your favorite music, watching your favorite film, anything that can bring you out of the psychological time that creates suffering and to bring you back into the flow state and the eternal now, which is just purely based on love and is anchored in love and knowingness and being. And hopefully that will take a little bit less resistance away from what we're all experiencing right now as we transcend a lot of energies. I think the lunar eclipse or the solar eclipse just happened. I think we're in Mercury retrograde as well. That adds an whole layer. A lot is going on. And I kind of feel like it is this balance between psychological time where it makes you feel very individual. It's very dense. You know, Fluid really talks about this. She talks about how this plane can make you feel really dense. You know, I've been really trying to integrate more of the teachings of being a light being into, you know, myself. I grew up very strong Catholic, and I remember one of the songs in primary school was Children of the Light. We are children of the light. We are shining in the darkness of the night. And kind of talking about how we're all, children of God, very obvious, but we're children of light. We are light beings. Everything is made of light, right? We talk about the light spectrum. Humans can only see a certain percentage of light anyway. So it's like, okay, how can we integrate more light into ourselves? Because when you go into in psychological time and you think about all of these dense things and like I'm in pain or this and that, and you add all these layers onto it, we create so much suffering and we can't get to our true essence. Think about this. Okay. I remember I had this beautiful teacher. She's still alive, of course, period. And she explained the concept of confession in the Catholic Church or anywhere. You could even match this to therapy. Imagine your soul being a diamond, and every time you sin, the diamond gets rougher, it gets dirtier, or whatever. Every time you go to confession, it's like you're cleaning this diamond, you're purifying it, getting it back to the beauty of what it is. Think about that in the eternal now. You're doing the same thing. Every time you pull yourself back into who you remember who you are and not letting these dense layers kind of get onto you, kind of like in Spirited Away, when that like demon thing comes in, has a bath, and they kind of unpeel all the layers to find out for the person underneath that. Or like in Avatar, where Aang fights that spirit in the forest, and he was just clouded by all this dark energy, this demonic energy. When you think about it, dense, low vibrations and people being demons or doing demonic things or just low vibrational states. Our aesthetic knowledge and kind of going through them realms delve deeper into these darker states and how they can manifest. But for me, who's just really on love, light, and vibes all the time, I don't really like to consume too much of the dark stuff. I think what message that the universe is really trying to call upon me right now is that you do have to integrate the darkness and the shadow. You have to do shadow work. I've kind of been neglecting it recently. Not to say I don't do that and I work with my shadow. I think it's really important to do a lot of healing. Of course, healing is ongoing. It's a spiral. But with being a snake and you shedding your skin often, and snakes ebb and flow. They're sometimes in the ground, about to sneak up on someone, or they're up open with their necks elongated on the prowl, attacking life. The seasons of how you ebb and flow through your suffering and your shadow is your own journey, but you have to come back to these practices and integrate the stuff that is malleable and that can help your soul and your spirit, you know but it's hard times, and it's times where we have all these external things like Mercury retrograde, like our own trauma, our own shit, you know the politics of the world, our home being on fire, and we have to work on ourselves consistently all the time. It can be exhausting, let's not lie, especially for my neurodivergent girlies out there, my autistic girlies, my ADHD girlies, anyone who also has that struggled, that other layer of struggling. Okay, yeah, you can cure a lot of mental illnesses and mental health things with eating good, working on your inner self. You've got to inner stand. You've got to look internally, because once you fix the internal blueprint within you, it's like you're a compass, right? If you don't shift and sort out yourself and move yourself back to true north, you're going to be following the wrong direction your whole life. So you must look within. You must activate the heart space. The heart space is so powerful. it will guide you. Brain and heart coherence, even more powerful. And I really feel like with this, video, really feeling green energy today. It's all about the heart chakra. It's all about following your heart. And when you can follow your heart, that's where shit happens. And that's where we can stop the resistance, or not stop it necessarily, because there's always going to be resistance, more than other times, less than other times. But it's about balancing that with things you can do. Jake Eisen, one of my all-time favorite spiritual content creators, um, spoke to him the other day, and he told me some advice. He said to me, and I think when you hear it, you're like, yeah, it makes so much sense. But I feel like sometimes we can get in our heads, we can get bogged down in the flow of resistance. But he said, when you follow the excitement, you cannot go wrong. And he's right. Like, again, following your heart. When you follow your heart, it's like, okay, it's where the most exciting things happen. Whether that's a project or a creative project or an acting gig, or you know someone you like, or a friend, or an event you went to, or a holiday you just banked on. When you follow your heart and you follow the excitement, you cannot be steered wrong. Even that emotion, excitement, that's trust and faith in what you want, thereby trust in God and the universe, because it's just a reflection of you, right? So follow the excitement. Guys, I'm loving the day out. We've got my drink in here. I've got yerba mate, super good for ADHD and caffeine. Apparently, I drank a lot of this. My dissertation, the Billy B grind. Oh, I will not miss her. Moving on to transformation. So we've talked a little bit about resistance. Now it's kind of integrating, and I've spoke a bit about integrating. So transformation can happen at any time, right? It's kind of like a snake. A snake will spend however long starting to shed its skin, and when it's finally ready to shed its last layer, it will transform into this new, replenished, fresh snake. Transformation is such an interesting concept because, I love Western philosophy and Christianity, as you all know, and looking at the transfiguration of Jesus. Jesus is one of my favorite ascending masters. And I have a lot of love for this beautiful divine soul. And I think I might do a video on Jesus one time, and kind of my journey with Catholicism and spirituality and stuff. I think that'd be really cool. But even the transfiguration of Jesus Christ, right? So what I mean by this is him being born of the Virgin. You've really got these key energies coming through: purity, light, being born from the Virgin. Him going through his own life and his obstacles, teaching miracles, teaching the power of being God eternal, channeling energies, gifts. You know, we forget, like, Jesus was so magical. You know, he cured millions of people, thousands of people. We don't know the numbers. He turned water into wine. He fed the 5,000, the 10,000. How many people that is, we won't know, because we wasn't there. Healing the blind, someone with lepers, I think, as well. He is a magician. He is an alchemist. A lot of people's pain he would transmute. Zacchaeus, come down from that tree. You are God. We love you. You are a follower. Integrating and giving someone their love. Jesus showed love to Zacchaeus. Zacchaeus received that love and integrated it into himself. That is magic in a lot of ways. That is transmutation, that is alchemy. And when Jesus kind of was obviously going through his, his life, spreading his teaching, spreading the word of God, realizing that God is within us, he was the Son of God, and he was, spreading this good news. The Pharisees was like, nah, nah. And the Pharisees can mirror a lot of stuff that's going on in the political realm now. They were like, you are not God. You are a false prophet. What are you talking about? Stop saying this stuff. You keep saying this stuff? Okay, we're going to crucify you. We are going to kill you for being yourself, for being you. But Jesus trusted the universe, the unfolding, so much. And we can really take a lot from this story, myself included, so much that he was like, okay, God, I trust you. This is happening. I'm dying the most excruciating death. I give my faith upon to you, and I love you. And he forgave the people that did this to him. The ultimate transmutation at his final death. He transmuted all this collective pain that they put onto him, and he forgave them with love. Ah, what a beautiful story, example of how we can live a similar life. Not necessarily doing the same exact thing, but translating that. So when someone does us wrong, we forgive that, and we transmute that with love, and we alchemize it. We become alchemists. And I think this is such an important message for this year, especially with year 9 and the year of the snake, and us transmuting our last bits and shedding our last bits of skin to then go into 2026 when it's kind of a new start. And we'll kind of look at now the integration of New Earth and Earth of this. So kind of just coming back onto the year of the snake. Wisdom, elegance, transformation, and intuition are some keywords from the energy of this year. It's very feminine, right? It's very transformative, transcendent, very feminine, intuitive. Fun. And I think with this, we start to look at New Earth. You've probably heard this concept being thrown around a lot. Again, like, I am new to the spiritual community. Like, I'm very much like a lot of people I follow. I'm not a part of the spiritual community in a lot of senses. I'm part of the spiritual family that is the whole of the universe, that is everyone on this earth. I love all human beings. I love all beings. I love all things in this universe that are made from light, love, energy. So subscribing to doctrines, religions, New Earth, New World Order, the spiritual community, it really just it puts ego back onto you. I'm just conscious and I'm aware. So when I'm talking about New Earth, I'm not saying I'm one of those people or groups that like, hey guys, New Earth, and creating a lot of fear around it or creating a lot of whatever around it. I'm just trying to engage these certain topics as a being and being called upon to talk about this in my own self and my own brain, and that being unique to me. So just want to put that disclaimer out there, because New Earth has been talked about for decades now. It's not a new concept at all. During the 60s and the age of Aquarius are coming upon our energetic timelines, and the psychedelic era, the Beatles, people being more conscious when it comes to sex and drugs, and what a beautiful time. New Earth and that term really started to flourish around that time. So the 60s, decades ago. So it's not a new concept, but it's a new or most talked about concept now because of where we're going and how expansive Earth is being right now. I'm going to put a picture on screen. I follow this guy. He talks about these energetic timeline shifts a lot. I don't know too much the science behind them, but clearly you can see there's a lot happening. And we can see this in the development of technology. Technology is rapidly it's rapidly expanding, with Elon Musk, with anything space related, with AI, with you know freedom and equality right now. New Earth and the New World Order. Two really intense precipice. Where are you going to go? Where are you going to go? And I ask you this question very plainly right now. Are you going to shift into New Earth where your love, your light, you're trying to be the best version of yourself in this three-dimensional realm? Because the Earth is just a 3D realm, right? You don't need to overcomplicate that, right? In school, in maths, you learn about shapes, you learn about 2D shapes, right? This is a 2D shape in the sense of this piece of paper. It's flat. 3D. This is 3D. 4D. 5D. And shapes will ebb and flow, tesseracts will be formed, layers, right? 4D, 5D plane, we can't get to in this physical realm. Not unless you're Doctor Strange or something and you have these powers or whatever, but we can internally and we can in a metaphysical sense, but physically wise, no. New Earth is going to be beautiful, and it is going to be this fight between light and dark, these energies. And I don't want to. I watched someone and a video of someone, and they were like, with New Earth, you don't want to be integrating a lot of fear, because when we think about fear and we think about this, maybe this battle between good and evil or whatever, I think you have to be aware of the darkness, though, and the evil. Like, I'm not saying, okay, let's focus on the good and evil and the dark and the light in the world, and we're trying to put all our energy into fighting this darkness with all of this light. That's exhausting. I'm not saying that's definitely part of it, and that battle will definitely be going mostly within yourself. But when you've done with that side of the battle, it's integrating the light consistently throughout the world, through the shit you're doing, the people you're around, the creativeness you're putting out there into the world. That's New Earth. Being the best version of yourself, being the most loving version of yourself, no matter what you're going through, no matter what darkness evades, you are always showing up in love. That is New Earth. To Mother Earth as well. Golden ages and civilizations that worked eons ago or thousands of years ago, worked because people spiritually wanted to advance. We don't have this in this dense society. And that's why within the New World Order, people who are unfortunately A, not wanting to do that, or B, being stuck in their dense limitations. And that's not really a fault of their own, because it's holding the fact that everything's written, the Buddhist practice that everything is perfect in a lot of ways. Thirdly, you can't force people to change if they don't want to. Everyone goes on their own soul's journey, and someone's suffering is their own suffering, and that's their own dharma or whatever, and you can't force people, but you can be the best version of yourself and be loving to inspire people to do that, because again, it's a ripple effect. The universe works in a ripple effect. Going around screaming in everyone's faces, you must do this, you must do that, ain't nobody gonna listen. No, I ain't gonna listen. People don't work or register or are open to a forceful hand. No, the free market, in an economic sense, works perfectly and generates more wealth through being able to move freely. It's the same with human beings. It's the same with how we treat each other. We can't restrict. Okay, resistance and restriction, it can put so much pain onto someone, they will explode. Some people can transmute that energy into good. I know I've done that. My childhood was very like that, very like restrictive. Some people can fall and crumble. It's very unique and it's very individual to every person. But that's where we can create spaces like this where we can just kind of talk and say, look, shit is shitting up, bro, and life is crazy. And, I know myself, like, okay, like I'm still young in a earth sense, but I do know that my soul is very knowledgeable and wise because I've done this before and I'm remembering. We're all here to remember. Some people might remember a bit more when they're older. Ram Dass, to be fair, one of my favorite dudes, a guru for me, a mentor in a lot of ways. I love his podcast. I really recommend if you're wanting to get a little bit more into spiritual concepts and if you feel like you're so stuck in the dense energy all the time, his podcasts about everything and everything. He's more crown chakra related, I would say so, but he integrates a lot of practices about suffering and stuff that's connected to a lot of the lower chakras. I really recommend. He didn't have his spiritual awakening or enlightenment moment till he was like, I think it was like late 40s, 50s, maybe late 40s, like somewhere in his 40s, I think. And he was the most westernified, analytical, empirical mind based person because he was a Harvard professor teaching Freudian psychology, Jungian psychology. He was a psychiatrist. And then he had his moment. So, and everyone's going to have their own moment or have their own awakening. I just know that I'm called to not just be myself or creative, but to also embody these spiritual teachings. And period, literally. Tell everybody. But remember, it's the word embody. If you are not embodying these and you read all this knowledge and you're not applying it, it's just. And look, it's not going to be perfect all the time. I'm not perfect. I can fall into cycles again. But it's also realizing, oh shit, I'm in psychological time now. Wake up. We're back in the present. And we're back. Because even that is transmutation and alchemy because you've just woke yourself up. Again, shout out to Kaizen, paraphrasing him right now. The matrix isn't just this external realm of TikTok and like fluoride and like eating all this shit and whatever and politics and the news. It's here. It's your mind. It's the internal battle. Because life is just a hologram. We live in a fractal universe that's being proved, or not even just proved, emphasized more and more in the scientific field. Holographic beings, darling. What you think you are, what I think, therefore I am. Descartes was kind of right. It's important to remember that you aren't your thoughts. You are the soul, the being, the energetic sense in your body, but using your mind as a tool to be who you want to be. Fuck's what I mean. It's hard. The game is hard. The game is not supposed to be easy. To integrate mind and heart coherence. Oh, did a heart and mind coherent meditation this evening. Oh, I'm all good now. No, girl, it's hard. I started meditating in second year, so that's nearly 3 years ago now. Nearly 3 years ago. I am definitely not the person I was then, and I have become more advanced. But am I where I need to be? No. But am I where I am meant to be? Yeah. And that's so hard to believe. I know that's so hard to believe because you get knocked down and you get steered away from different things, and okay, like, is that meant to be? Or like, and I don't know what I'm trying to do, bro. Like, I lie. Like, God, teach me, man. But with 777 and that number being so beautiful, and remembering we can create our own heaven anywhere at any time and bring ourselves back to the present and to the knowing. So I would like to end this video on I got pins and needles, bro. I got pins and needles, bro. I got pins and needles, bro. I'd like to end this video on saying there's so much energetic influence going on in the world right now and in the energetic space. Think about it. We are one collective consciousness, yet we have individual consciousnesses, kind of like Severance, right? We all have these consciousnesses. They are all connected, and we all have our own, ooh, hello, darling, our own pain body, our own emotional body. Link that up to the collective. There is a lot of interference and a lot of noise. I can fucking be susceptible to that. We all can. So it's about tuning out of it, tuning into your own radio station, your own frequency, tuning into your heart space, and you cannot be steered wrong. So, a little bit on the year, the energy so far, resistance, how to transform that, and love yourself. We're trying to bring our higher selves into the 3D dimension. And once we all do that, we'll be unstoppable. It's all about love, babes. Thank you again for coming to my space where I just want to raise love, raise the collective consciousness. And if you've gotten to the end of this video, thank you so much. Give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already. Like, let's build this community, let's build the vibes, and let me know what kind of videos you want to see in the future. A lot of people love me talking about like what books I'm reading or how I've opened up my third eye a bit more. I'd love to do videos on that, so just let me know. Blessings, love to you all, and yeah,